Oh man, it's always like hard to do the morning because like everybody's like just hungover last night because we were all going drinking. So I'm gonna try to bring the energy and try to wake up everybody today. So cool. So my talk today is kind of about, for developers that are already kind of building games on the EVM and they want to actually scale them. I'm with Loom Network, and that's kind of be the talk today. Cool. But actually, what we're going to do is we're going to step back about 20 years to my childhood. I used to love to play this game called Magic the Gathering when I was a kid. I don't know, did anybody here play Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon? All right, like 5 people. I don't believe it in this audience that nobody else played card games. They're just embarrassed to say that they played card games. But I loved it. So like when we were at school, we used to collect the cards, and like I think half of it was just collecting the items and showing your friends that you had better cards than them. So when we got into the blockchain a couple years ago, we thought that like this would be the coolest use of NFTs, would be to build Magic the Gathering on the blockchain. So we actually embarked on this. So we originally made this game called Zombie Battleground. And at the time, about 2 years ago, there was no way to do this on ETH. The network was way too slow. None of the pieces were really there. And that's where we kind of embarked on Loom. We were like, we need to build the tech that enables all these people to be able to build large-scale games on the blockchain. So I think Ethereum is kind of the breakthrough technology, right? So about 2 years ago, remember we had CryptoKitties, and the CryptoKitties introduced the ERC-721 token, and it was really the first platform where you could actually have NFTs. Now, to be fair, if there's some Bitcoin guys in the audience, Bitcoin did have actually blockchain gaming before Ethereum, but it was way less simple. You had to have secondary chains, and there had to be merge miners. It wasn't like a smart contract on the chain. So I think there's a fundamental change with CryptoKitties. So CryptoKitties was really fun, right? It was this kind of little Ponzi scheme where you buy cats and that you hope that other people will pay more money for the cats that you bought than what you paid for them. And we had a lot of fun, and it sprung up probably all of the people here. How many people here got really excited about blockchain because of CryptoKitties? Nobody? Everybody's like, I hated that CryptoKitties thing. Nah, I didn't use it. As he has 200 cats in his wallet. But, it was very limited, right? Because of proof of work chains. So we all know that proof of work chains, we have 10 to 15 transactions a second across the entire world. And that's just not enough for a game when some gamers will use 10 transactions a second just for one user, right? So that's where Loom Network, we're a big fan of DPoS with Ethereum. So what we do is we have a DPoS sidechain to Ethereum. So you can actually take an existing EVM game and run it on the Loom Network, and you can have high performance. So you can have thousands of transactions a second. You can have no gas fees. You can transfer your tokens back and forth between Ethereum, and you kind of get the best of both worlds. So you can still secure all your valuable assets on Ethereum, but then you can use the Loom Network chain to actually scale your dApp and make an interesting app that does more than just breed 2 cats together. Yeah, so this is our battle card game. I don't have an animation because we have a PDF today, but basically if you've played Hearthstone or if you've played Gwent or any of these games, literally every time you move a card onto the board, every time you attack another card, you're creating a transaction onto the blockchain, and you're not paying any fees. So a single match between 2 players might generate 300, 400 transactions, right? So if you look on dApp Radar and soon hopefully dApp.com, you'll actually see that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions to play this game, even though we only have hundreds of users. And what we're hoping is that now that we show people that this is actually possible, that we see a bunch of the people here in the audience build much bigger dApps than just trading cards, right? One crazy thing that we did that we think is really cool that we haven't seen anybody else do is once your game completely runs on the blockchain, you can do crazy stuff like users could upload new Solidity contracts that modify how the game works. So if you wanted to make a version of the battle card game where you can only use fire cards or you can only play for 5 minutes, you could do that. But you could even do things that were never possible before with previous gaming with mods. So mods used to always be client-side. Once you have server-side mods, you could do things where you have money. So you could make a tournament where people have to pay into the tournament and they win a prize pool. So like it opens up a huge new world of opportunities for games that like never actually existed before, and it's the first time that this is actually even possible. So when we were making this, we've had over 2 million. I think we're probably at closer to 10 million cards minted, no gas fees, and then we let people transfer to mainnet when they want to. So this is actually a really old card. It's kind of ugly looking, but you can kind of get an idea. So just like the quick 30 seconds about me, I'm a technical guy, Go developer. I founded Loom Network. And fun fact about me, I rode into my wedding on an elephant, as a real picture. And if you get me drunk, I like to speak Thai. So it's always a fun party trick. So cool. So I'm going through this kind of fast because we only got 15 minutes. So I'm happy to take more questions and get people afterwards. So what is Loom Network? So we're a layer 2 scaling solution. We work right now with Ethereum, Tron, and we are launching Binance Chain this week. So if you have BEP2 tokens, or if you're planning on moving your token to the Binance Chain, you can now use the Loom as your smart contract platform for Tron, EOS, or Ethereum, and Binance. And we do some cool things that other layer 2 solutions don't have. So we support a wide number of wallets. So you can sign with a Tron wallet, you can sign with an ETH wallet, and you can sign with a Binance wallet. So if you have users that are using are in different ecosystems, like they're in the Tron ecosystem and the ETH ecosystem, they could still use your dApp. So the idea is that you start to make your dApp chain agnostic. So you use the Loom platform, so that way you could take money in Tron, you could take money on the Binance chain, and you want to be able to move your assets. So ultimately, you as the game developer are not an ETH maximalist, right? You want to sell your assets onto all the chains. So like we're the platform that enables you to like move your assets between chains and take payment from all the different chains. Everything's included, so if you use Truffle, you use Solidity, you use the EVM, all that stuff is included out of the box. We have a standard Web3 API that you can use, and we also have native APIs that are a bit faster too. Like I said, we support a bunch of the chains. This slide is no longer correct. We're launching Binance this week. So this is fun. We did a fun promotion with Binance a couple months ago where we gave CZ a custom card. And we thought this was kind of a cool concept. We did, because we're doing Cosmos integration. I don't know if anybody here is a big Cosmos fan. This is actually our absolute favorite, because we just think that Justin is so hilarious. So we like to do like fun trolls with him, and then he really gets into it. So if you check our Twitter for our April Fools, we did a rock and roll album with Justin's son, and it's absolutely hilarious. So universal signing. So this is something that we think that we're the only blockchain that's doing, and you can sign with different private key types. So you can use a KEK 256, you can ED 25519. So what that means is that you can use wallets. Like you can use a Trust wallet, you can use Tron Link, you can use MetaMask, and all those different wallets can sign transactions on the Loom chain. So cool, getting started. Anybody that's new to Solidity, we have an amazing course called the Crypto Zombies, and it basically will walk anybody that has done any programming through everything they need to know about how to program Solidity and making their first dApp. It's a code school, it's 100% free. It's the largest crypto code school on the planet. I think we had 300,000 people go through our code school, so it's super exciting. The Loom chain is open source, so if you want to fork it, take a look at it. It's right up here on GitHub. Always appreciate a star if you want to have, if you're fun. Yeah, so the last takeaways before we do questions is we see a multi-chain future. I love ETH. ETH is probably my favorite chain, but then I see Cosmos, I see Binance, I see EOS and Tron. I see all those chains like having a place in the world, and I think what we see is that for dApp developers are going to increasingly want to be multi-chain and move their assets and their games between multiple chains. And I think that's something you should look at. And even if you are an ETH maximalist, you probably still want money from Tron people. So, and that's about it. I will open it up for some questions.
Great, thank you very much. Do we have any questions? There's a question at the back. Hopefully the mic will come to you. Well, no, it's for the recording, so we need to capture you. So Michael will come to you in a second. So the gentleman at the back.
Thanks. Just want a quick question about what is the overhead we will be expecting to, let's just say we have a game on Ether network, it's, tokenless being a, issue. Now, if we want to move over to Loom, like how many developers, how much time roughly would take to integrate into Loom?
Oh, that's a great question. So most developers can integrate Loom in under a week. Usually you can get your app running on the first day. So basically, because we support the EVM, you can usually deploy your contracts almost instantaneously. You will have to do a bit of integration, a couple hours, to be able to move your token between mainnet and the Loom chain, but that's usually less than an hour of work for most people. Usually the hard part is, now that you have all these extra transactions per second, you want to actually do something new with your app. So that's usually will take a day or two, but yeah, most people have been able to get on it almost very, very quickly. Yeah. Cool.
There's a question down here.
Thinking about kind of scalability and the different types of solutions that are kind of out there and continuing to emerge, how do you see the kind of medium to far future of scalability more generally? Like, are the different types of scalability approaches in some ways, kind of, are they conflicting? Are they complementary? Or will there be different kind of scalability silos, or will everything kind of eventually converge?
Oh, this is a great question.
And is there a ceiling to scalability?
Okay, so that's two questions. I'll answer them separately, right? So first off, are the different technologies complementary versus competitive? I think that they're going to be complementary in different aspects, right? So as far as I know, it's like sidechains, plasma, state channels, and sharding are really the four pillars of scalability. And what you'll see is that maybe state channels will be really useful for only payment systems. I personally don't see state channels being very great for multiplayer games, like one-to-one games. That they're pretty good. So that's one aspect. So I can see that technology growing independently. As far as sidechains will probably eventually start to integrate sharding. So that will kind of swallow up chains that the only feature is sharding. And as far as plasma, it's an interesting complementary technology, but there's still a lot of user interface technology. So we're still very bullish right now over the next 6 months over sidechains. But I think each one of these is going to alleviate some of the need independently. So I think it's all good that they're each independently being worked on.